welcome to the next episode of Sharing the Light. Is there anything more frustrating than sitting in a meeting and feeling like it's going on forever, that the person actually in control of that meeting is actually completely out of control and has let the whole process drift? Today I thought I would share with you my techniques for running an efficient meeting. Number one, clear agenda. For any meeting to be successful, it's important that you have set a clear agenda for that meeting. What is the objective for getting this group of people together? And the fact that this agenda has actually been sent out beforehand so that people that are turning up for the meeting can make sure they're coming to the meeting informed and ready to engage in the conversation of the topic of that meeting. That leads into the second item, a concise invite list. It's extremely important with any meeting to make sure that you're only inviting the key people that are critical for the success or otherwise of that meeting. Be that team members, be that particular management staff, or if you're running a problem-solving session, be that a diversity of views and individuals within your business to try to ensure that you're having the greatest potential success and canvassing the widest range options that you could have for your problem-solving activity. Third technique, always ensure that you start on time and also, more importantly, ensure that the meeting finishes on time. Now, time is our most precious commodity. It's the only thing that you can't ever buy back or get back. And in particular, time and other people's time should always be respected. And so it is critically important that a meeting always starts on time and that attendees at the meeting recognise this. And should they be think they're going to be late for some particular reason, have advised the meeting organiser beforehand and actually received permission to be late. There's certainly nothing more frustrating than people drifting in for a meeting, always being late for a meeting, and really almost being completely disrespectful to everybody else that was organised enough to make sure they were there on time. As I said, the flip side to that is ensure when you're running a meeting that you stick to your agenda and actually finish on time. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be a complete Nazi about completing the meeting on time and stop conversations that might be happening in the meeting, but you need to be very cognizant about the time and the passage of time and how you're completing your agenda to keep it working concisely. What I find is some best practice ideas to help with ensuring timekeeping works well within a meeting is assigning somebody to be the timekeeper for the meeting, to actually help keep everybody on track, especially if you're getting engrossed in conversation. I also find an effective meeting is keeping a meeting to 45 minutes to an hour at the absolute most. This sort of time frame is also around about the amount of time that anybody can really focus and concentrate completely on a subject, and after which they start to drift. So trying to keep your meetings at most to those sort of time frames I've found makes them exceedingly more efficient and effective. Technique number 4 is establishing ground rules for how conversation happens in that meeting, and in particular making sure all of the conversation and input by members within that meeting is constructive. People shouldn't need to feel the desire to rehash a point that someone else has already shared, and really people should be adding value into that meeting as all parts of the conversation that's being discussed. That certainly doesn't mean people don't have the right and the option to offer their opinions and their views of what the meeting's about, but it is about trying to keep the discussion topic on point with what's within the agenda. And also, as a best practice idea with that as being a good facilitator of a meeting, is to make sure that you're engaging everybody there that's actually attended that meeting. If you've gone through and actually got a concise attendee list for the meeting, you obviously value the input from everybody that's actually there. And the extrovert personalities will generally dominate the introvert personalities. So in driving this meeting agenda, it's important that you ensure that you extract out of everybody at the meeting their ideas and input into the discussion topic. Especially important if you're discussing a portion of the business or your work that actually needs some consensus agreement as well. Now, of course, every meeting can sort of drift and new ideas come out of it. So the fifth technique that I use is actually having a parking lot. And that's really just having a separate piece of paper that's there for any ideas and items that come up that aren't really part of the original agenda, but are also important enough issues that really should be addressed at some point in time. And by having this parking lot, it gives you a list of things to make sure that you talk about if you've still got time left in the meeting and address if they're critical issues. And also make sure that you don't forget about them so that you can ruminate and organise a future meeting to particularly discuss those topics. So the meeting's been run, it's all been run on time, it's been run well. But probably the most important part of now having delivered that meeting is the last piece for me, which is keeping good, efficient notes of the meeting. Now, the technique I use for this is we actually use an action list. And so out of the meeting, there are actually actions assigned during the meeting as topics are discussed to a particular person, and with their agreement in the meeting, a particular time frame to actually achieve that action. And so the minutes of the meeting that get issued as such later that day, and generally within 24 hours, is not a comprehensive list of everything everybody said, but just covering off those key action points that need to be driven to ensure success for the item that you're discussing in that meeting. So there you have it. My techniques for running an effective meeting: clear agenda, concise invite list, start on time, end on time, conversational ground rules, use of the parking lot, and action minutes used as post-minute notes. Hopefully there's a couple of nuggets in there that you can take away and use yourselves to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of your meetings. It's been Sharing the Light. Until next time, my best.